Class, let's go over Math 8-5 together. I hope my lighting's a little bit better today. Yeah, should be good. Have a little more light here. Okay. So let's kind of go over the concept of volume a little bit more together. I know that you watched the Math Antics video yesterday, but I just want to kind of discuss a little bit more. So I'm using the best thing I could find to demonstrate this. I have a little cube. Now imagine that it's a perfect cube and then I don't have this little edge right here. I tried all over the house to find a little cube. There's probably some at school, but we'll just use this for now. So this is our cube unit measure, right? It could be centimeters, it could be any type of measurement, but this is a cubic square. It is a cube, right? It's three-dimensional. And when we find the volume, we're going to find out how many cubes it would take to fill up a space, like this box. Now, I know this box has a lid, but I could determine how many cubes this box would hold to find the volume. Now, it would definitely take a lot more than this one, right? I would have layers across the bottom, and then we would build up, right? So I'm guessing it would be about 3 cubes this way, and about 5 cubes this way, and probably about 4 cubes up. So 4 layers, boom, 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 boom. It would be about 5 cubes across, cube, 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 and then about maybe 2 or 3 cubes this way, cube, 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 that way. And I would need cubes on every level as far back as I need to go, across and up to fill up this whole box, right? And that would be the volume of my box. However many cubes it would take to fill it without any gaps right to the top, that would be the volume of my box. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about that in your student workbook. So what I'd like you to do now is go to page 327. 327. That wax cube smells so good. It's one of those Scentsies that we put in the warmer in our class. This one's orange and pine. It's kind of a Christmassy smell. Ooh, that's divine. Now my hands are going to smell yummy all day. Okay, 327. So it's kind of showing us the layers too. In fact, we can even kind of picture that little wax cube as the cube units that we're using in here. So on the top, it says each layer of these rectangular prisms is 4 cubes by 2 cubes. Now, I didn't go over the vocab at the top, but you can see the word rectangular prisms highlighted right there in yellow. It says you can use layers of cubes to build rectangular prisms. Now those 3D shapes, and in this case they're rectangular, those are rectangular prisms. Okay. Now that first one to the right, in fact, let me get to the page in this student workbook that I have. It makes it so much easier to see. Remember when I would complain in class that my teacher manual was so small, it was really hard, but now I can kind of show you what we're talking about up close. Okay, so on this side, let's take a look. We can count the cubes that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 across, and 2 deep. 1, 2. So we've got 8 cubes. I could do 4 times 2 equals 8. I could go through and count them up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 cubes. So 1 layer equals 8. So go ahead and put an 8 in your blank spot right there. Now it says that every layer is 4 cubes by 2 cubes. So now we're going to start stacking. Now they're going to be equal. Each stack is going to be equal in cubes, in size, but we're going to start stacking them on one another. So if my one layer has 8 cubes, how many is 2 layers going to have? Is it going to have a layer of 8 and then another layer of 8, right? So 8 plus 8 is 16. So for 2 cubes right here, I want you to go ahead and put 16. That's 16. 8 times 2 is 16. So we've got 8 plus 8 is 16. 8 times 2 is 16. What about 3 layers? Now you could try to count all of those cubes, but it's sometimes hard to see the ones in the back. And since we can't actually hold it in our hand and count all those cubes, it's much easier to do the actual math, right? The computations in our mind. So if 2 layers was 2 times 8 equals 16, then 3 layers are going to be 3 layers of 8 cubes each. So 8, 8, 8. So 8 times 3 is 24. Go ahead and fill that in. In fact, fill in the rest of your line there. The 4 layers, the 5 layers, and the 6 layers. I'm going to give you just a minute to figure that out. Remember your 8 times tables. You got this. Okay, pause it if you still need to keep going. Those of you that are done, let's just check really quickly. So 8 times 3, so for 3 layers it should be 24. 8 times 4 for 4 layers should be 32. 8 times 5 for 5 layers should be 40. And 8 times 6 for 6 layers should be 48. Did you get them all right? I hope so. I hope so. Okay, let's keep going. The volume of a prism is the number of cubes needed to build the prism. That's what we talked about with our cubes and our box, right? And we know this from yesterday. Volume is recorded in cubic units. So here, let's go ahead and we'll write our answers again, but this time pay attention to the equation that we're using. So the first layer is 4 times 2 times 1. Let's go over this and figure out why again. Here's our first layer, 1 layer, and it says down here that it's 4 times 2 times 1. Here's why. We have 4 across, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 2 deep. 1, 2. See, there's 1 in front and 1 in back. And then there's only 1 layer, so we've got 1 up, right? 1 up. So we're going to go this way and back and up. So 4 across, 2 back, 1 up. 4 times 2 is 8, times 1 is 8, which is exactly what we got up here at the top. We got 8, and now we're going to put that right here in this area. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. 2 layers is 4 times 2 times 2. Let's see why. Let's see why. We have 4, so we've got 4 across, times 2. Remember, we have 2 back. You can tell it really well right here or on the side. 1, 2. So here's a front one, and here's a back one. We only have 2. And then we have 2 up, right? We have 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top. So we have 4 across, so that's 4, times 2, 2 back, times 2 again because it's 2 layers. 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top. So 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So we're going to put 16 right there. And I know that you can see the relationship between what we've got here, these answers, and what should be listed down here. So I think you can figure that out. But is everybody clear about how we find that volume? Right? It's length times width times height. So our length, it's going to either be this way or front and back, whichever way. So length times width times height is going to give us our volume. So we've got those 3 measurements, and I would like you to complete those calculations for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because I think you can do that really fast. And we actually have already figured it out. You're just transferring those numbers, but I want you to see the relationship between the pictures in the middle of the page, where it talks 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers, and then the numbers that we're multiplying together to find those cubic units. Okay? Okay, let's flip our page one more time. This one is kind of short actually today, so we'll be done quickly after we go through the next page, which is 328. So here looks like this. Make sure we're all together. Okay, remember, if I go fast or if you still need to fill in something, pause the video. You can pause it anytime. You can rewind it anytime if you're not understanding something. Go back and watch it again and see if you can get it the next time, okay? Okay, so this is the page where it's actually showing length times width times height. So on number 7, it says that the length is 7 feet. We can see that right here at the bottom. So our length is 7 feet. Here's our 7 feet. Our width is, I can't see it that way, 4 feet. So it's showing us 4 feet going back, right? And then our height is 5 feet, so it's 5 feet from the bottom to the top. So what it means is it would take 7 cubes this direction, 4 cubes that direction, and 5 cubes up to fill this box with cubes, like our little orange cubes, right? Okay. And when that's our formula for volume is length times width times height. So we would do 7 times 4, which is 28, right? 28 times 5 is 140. And they give us that, and they put it in cubic feet because our measurement is the cubes. And then it's telling us on the picture that it's in feet. Okay? So let's do the next one together. Let's do number 8. Our length talks right here. Our length is 6 centimeters. Sorry, I have to turn it to see the picture. 6 centimeters. So right here in this area, let me grab my pencil. We are going to put 6 centimeters. Remember your label. Okay, so we've got 6 centimeters. The next one is our width. Our width in our picture is this way right here. It's the 15. So we got 15 centimeters. Like that. And then our height. The height is the up and down, right? The height on this one is 10 centimeters. So let's write out those numbers in our formula. So we've got 6 times 15 in parentheses times 10. Alrighty, well, we've got to figure out 6 times 15. Let's see if we can do that quickly here on our board. I do it right here on the side. I'm going to put the 15 on the top because it has more numbers. Here we go. 6 times 5 is 30. Put my 3 up in the next column. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Okay, now the next part of that, the next part of the equation, because remember we had 6 times 15 times 10, right, like that. So here was the 6 times 15, and then we have, which is 90. So now we've got 90 times 10, which equals 900, right? I've got 2 zeros. 9 times 1 is 9. We can put the zeros on the end. All right, so our answer for number 8 would be 900 centimeters cubed, or 900 cubic centimeters. Let's write it like that. Ooh, I'm loud today, sorry. 900 cubic centimeters, right there. Okay? All right, guys, I would like you to try the next one on your own. Will you try number 9? I'm going to do it at the same time as you. You can pause this if you want, but I want you to try. Give it a shot. I think you can do it. So find the length, find the width, find the height, and then multiply, 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 and let's find our answer at the end. Okay, you work while I work. Let's see what we get. Okay, we'll come back together. Ooh, I had to use my eraser. Made a mistake. That's okay. I'm gonna have to write this one out. I was wondering if I could do it in my head, but I can't. Okay, if you're not done, pause the video because I'm going to move on, but I still want you to be able to finish. So pause if you're not done. If you're ready, then let's compare. Okay, so for the length, I got 12 meters. For the width, I got 4 meters. Okay, let me go back and show you on the picture. Length is 12 meters, width is 4 meters, and then our height is also 4 meters. Okay, so our equation should look like length times width times height, which would be 12 times 4 times 4. My answer was 192 cubic meters. Is that what you got? I hope so. I hope so. See, this isn't too bad. Not bad at all. Let me grab the homework page and see if there's anything we need to go over on that one. Ooh, sorry for the delay. Let's see. 8-5. Come on, Mrs. Norman. There we go. Okay. Oh my heavens. I am like a bull in a china shop today. Oh. Okay, 8-5 homework. So the first part, 1, 2, and 3, are just like what we went over first. So if you have questions on that one, go back to page 327 in your workbook and look over what we talked about. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then 5 and 6 is just like finding the volume like we just did. In fact, 5 through 10. Let's do 1 together on our homework just to make sure that we're good to go. Okay. In fact, let's do number 9. Okay, we're gonna skip. We'll do number 9 together right here. So if you want to pause this video and get your homework handy so you can write down this while we go, that's fine. Go ahead and pause. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep going. We'll go do number 9 together. So actually, the first thing I'm gonna do on my papers, I'm gonna write down my formula so that I don't forget what my formula is. I'm gonna do length times width times height. And that is volume. So I'm going to write this formula right at the top of my paper so I won't forget any time during my assignment what I'm supposed to be doing. So for on number 9, we're going to find the volume, and our formula says length times width times height. My length is 7 feet. My width is 6 feet. And my height is 10 feet. So my equation should look like this. Volume equals 7 times, here's my 7, times 6 times 10, that's my height right there. And then I've got to just figure this out, right? Which actually, this one's kind of easy to do in our heads. We've got 7 times 6 is 42. 42 times 10, just going to add a 0 on the end, so 420. 420 cubic, so CU, period, feet. 420 cubic feet. We found that one really fast. I think they'll all be pretty easy like this, okay? And because of that on this page, and I really want you to just practice the length times width times height, I would like you to do 1 through 10. Now we already did 9 together, so you should be fine, but 1 through 10. Okie dokie? Okay, talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day.